What's up, everyone? Happy December, and since it's the first Sunday of the month, that means it's the patrons' turn to pick this week's Pokemon. And the Pokemon they chose for this week is... Ledian? Really? Alright, you know what? It's fine. I got something for you. Alright, so we have Ledian, a critter from the second generation that evolved from the adorable fan favorite Ledybug, who I'm guessing, along with Spinarak, is one of two bug types you can get early on in the game, just like Caterpie and Weedle. Ledian was known for its flurry of punching moves, most notably being one of the earliest users of Mach Punch, as well as being one of the few with access to the unique Baton Pass. And it never really had a star appearance in the anime, but that doesn't translate to competitive success, which is what we want to know. So, how good was Ledian actually? And in this video, we'll be covering these competitive formats. In its debut generation, Ledian firmly established itself as a monstrous threat that dominated all in its path. Everyone, just ignore the text that's on screen. It's completely wrong. Here, I'll even cross it out for you. There we go. That's more like it. It had a monstrously base 171 attack, eclipsing that of Generation 5's Kyurem Black, and causing Game Freak producers to sweat profusely at the amount of power they had bestowed upon the metagame in their attempts to play God. Ledian's savage Mach Punches tore through common monsters such as Snorlax, Cloyster, Tyranitar, and Blissey. Plus, it was so bulky, it could even take 3 quad-effective stabbed rock slides from Rhydon, or 2 after a curse, giving it more than enough time to brutalize it with Mach Punch. Again, ignore the numbers on screen, these are totally the right numbers. The common electrics were ripped apart by its return, and even the blazing fast Raikou was outsped thanks to Ledian's base 116 speed. Gengar and Mischievous were immune to these two moves, but one hidden power Ghost, and they would be brought back to life, which is what we assume happens to ghosts when they die. Thunder Punch, coming off its nearly equal base 140 special attack, made quick work of Skarmory, and thus Ledian was so threatening to offense and stall alike, it was quickly banned. Yes, that's right, banned. On to Advance, no one wanted to take any chances with Ledian terrorizing Overused again, so it started off the generation in Ubers. There, it was so uncontestedly vicious that it quickly became the first ever Pokemon to be banned from Ubers, and it was truly the Mega Rayquaza of its time. It was lethal to Lugia, killed Kyogre, and mauled Mewtwo. It even packs the offenses of Deoxys attack, the defenses of Deoxys defense, and the speed of Deoxys speed, and from that it was clear that only domination existed in Ledian's DNA. Now, with the introduction of Stealth Rock, everyone thought Ledian would finally be brought back down to earth. I mean, even Charizard, Ash's ace Pokemon, which clearly means it's the best Pokemon of all time, is destroyed by Stealth Rock, so this must be the case, right? However, Ledian showed them how woefully wrong they were. Mach Punch had plenty of new targets to destroy, such as Garchomp, Heatran, and Infernape, and so-called resists such as Cresselia still took heavy damage, although it didn't make much of a difference when they were blown away by the follow-up Bug Bite. It even gained U-turn to keep up momentum, and not even Stealth Rock could stop the onslaught it left in its path. Let's just ignore that it's taking 50%, because honestly, you're gonna need all the damage you can get on Ledian. With its benevolent spirit, sometimes gifting its inferior teammates the holy boosts it had accrued via Baton Pass, it became widely accepted that its spirit was too pure for such foul surroundings, and that was without considering how it effortlessly knocked the stuffing out of its surroundings. Thus, it was banned again. Hey, Ho-Oh is 4 times weak to rocks too, so. Anyway, the banning of Ledian was the true reason why Scizor eventually rose. It couldn't do anything when Ledian brutally outclassed it. Yep, that's totally why. Alright, moving on. Now, in the Weather generation, Ledian went against the grain. The Weather Setters were Pokemon too, and like most Pokemon, they were threatened with a cold, swift one-hit KO from any of Ledian's mighty attacks, especially with its new Dream World ability, Iron Fist, making it even more ridiculously powerful. Jeez, and I thought Game Freak giving Mega Evolutions to already powerful Pokemon was a weird idea. Drain Punch was also buffed in this generation, and Ledian was able to reap the benefits of both to add another monstrous attack to its relentless repertoire. Other new faces and overuse such as Latios, Terrakion, Volcarona, and Reuniclus all ran in terror from Ledian's moves. In fact, this time around, Ledian's ban was applied right before the release of Genesect to preserve the latter's feelings, as any bug occupying overuse at the same time as Ledian developed a nasty inferiority complex. The shiny new Megas impressed many, but not Ledian obviously. It simply went about its business, treating them for what they were. More victims for its furious fists to flush down the toilet. Legend even has it that Ledian's incredible technique was the inspiration for Muhammad Ali and Rocky alike. Anyway, it shattered every Mega from Kangaskhan to Gengar to both Charizards and to Scizor. Oh, poor Scizor, you finally thought you had a niche, but you thought very wrong. Newcomers such as Talonflame also soon learned terror at the many hands of Ledian, and the Oraz crowd, that includes the new Megas, Hoopa Unbound, and Volcanion, can only thank their lucky Jirachis that their prayers to Arceus were answered and that Ledian was banned before they entered the metagame. It should also be mentioned that Arceus was also scared to death by Ledian, knowing that it only remained at the top because Ledian allowed it to, no matter what form it took. Now finally, Sun and Moon. Everyone was excited to see how Ledian would shock and amaze them with the new Z moves. They were sure its savage spinouts, supersonic sky strikes, and all-out pummelings would shape the metagame. However, in a twist no one could have seen coming, Dunsparce came to utterly dominate the metagame, and it was the counter to Ledian people had been searching for a decade and a half. Suddenly, Ledian became what it never had been before, a liability, with Dunsparce utterly throttling it and having a chokehold on the metagame as a whole. Ledian fell down the usage charts so hard it created a new tier called HBU, or has been used. And as for VGC, Ledian has always been banned from it on account of making the so-called legendaries look like the little wimps they are. I mean, obviously it must be banned. I can't find on Ledian right now. So, how good was Ledian actually? Now, if it wasn't obvious, what you've just heard for the last several minutes is a joke. Ledian is one of the worst, most shockingly awful Pokemon of all time, and it's honestly pretty easy to see why. Like, you don't need me to tell you that. It has absolutely horrible stats, and in each and every tier of each and every generation, Ledian was worse than anything else available more than 99 times out of 10. It never had anything near anything resembling the slightest moment of glory ever, and thus rather than just rip on it, endlessly emphasizing how utterly unusable it is, we decided to have some fun and make it out to be a deity. Until, of course, its tragic fall from grace in Gen 7 at the hands of Dunsparce. Now who knows, maybe Mega Ledian will come make us rue the day in Generation 8. Thanks for watching, everyone. Shoutouts to the patrons for voting for this Pokemon and for continued support of our videos, and thank you to everyone else watching as well. And as always, if you liked the video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to False White Gaming for more weekly Pokemon content, and follow my crew on the social media platforms, yada yada yada. And that's all I got. See you next time, everyone.